What the... Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my review of the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush episode 66. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this episode really took me by surprise with what this episode entailed and how it went, to be honest. After last week's episode where it was kind of dull, kind of dry, and really I couldn't have cared less if I had watched it, this episode was the complete opposite. It really kicked off this tournament with a strong start. And yeah, so we'll talk about all this soon enough. So at risk of further rambling, let's move on to the actual episode. So the episode begins with the beginning of the Rush Duel tournament held by MIK, the Mutsuba Corporation, and the Gohawk Corporation. All three of these companies are vying for this tournament to build the bond between the humans and the aliens of Mutsuba Town. And while this is going on, we learn that Yuumu and company have retrieved the relic and are studying it. And Yuumu deduces that Yuga could not have been the only one sent back in the past. What if Yuga's enemy, Otis, his destined enemy, traveled back to the past with him? It only makes sense. It doesn't make sense that Yuga just arrived all by himself and the other person that went into that temporal rift did not. But Yuumu deduces that it's quite possible that Otis was sent back even further in time, and that's where the relic came from, because she's like, such a technological tool, it doesn't make sense. How could something so advanced just exist out of nowhere before this technology even exists, unless it came from the future? I.e., the only one that's left would be Otis. And just as he utters Otis's name, Yuumu is possessed by something. It emerges from the relic, and she just goes on a bender. She's possessed, and she uses a Darkness Drake, a new Darkness monster, to fuse with her light monsters. And this ends up happening in a Rush Duel with Udius. She vows to crush Udius, that he hasn't grown at all. So whatever's possessing her wants revenge at Udius as they Rush Duel. And the possessed Yuumu ends up creating Red Reboot Enhanced Dragon, using a new fusion spell with Red Boot Dragon. And this thing is just awesome, to be honest with you. Really enjoyed it. But Udius ends up pulling an ace out of his sleeve with a new field spell that allows him to fusion summon with cards in his hand. And ultimately he defeats the possessed Yuumu, who comes to, and that pretty much ends the episode. So, like I said, this episode was a big WTF, a big takeaway from last week's episode, or a big difference from last week's episode, I guess I should say. It looks like it very well could be that Otis may be a big bad again, which is always great because he is one of my favorite characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. And so, yeah, if we see Otis again and Otis is behind something, you know it's going to be crazy. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say about the episode. Really enjoyed it, really strong. Overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10, and not just because it's Yuumu focused. But again, those are just my thoughts, and as always, I want to hear yours. So in the comments section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What were your thoughts? Just let me know in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.